In the last video, I showed you Red Dusk's Reddit timeline, a timeline where the Soviet Union managed to secure total victory in the new post-fall of the Berlin Wall Cold War. In this one, I will show you another reality in the same mod, a reality where NATO is much stronger and America dominates the world, with the Soviet Union failing for a second time, but only kinda. Okay, remember, before I start, if you have not watched part 1, then I highly suggest that you go back and watch it. I think that a link to part 1 shall appear on your screen right now. I give you a few seconds to click on it, after which I shall begin the video. Please watch part 1 before watching part 2. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, the world in 2008 is very different than what it was before, but it's still the same in certain aspects. In the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics, the Nikolai Ryzhkov has become the new chairman of the Communist Party of the Soviet Union. Taking a note from Beijing, he has adopted market socialism to lift the USSR out of its economic woes. Central planning has been sidelined by market forces, and the USSR is now a mixed economy. New Russian products have begun to flood the world markets, and the world is very different from what it was before. After the War of 2008, the Soviet Union conquered Poland. This was largely ignored by the West, and this is a major thorn in the career of American President Alan Keyes, the first black president in the history of America. Alan Keyes was given the seat by the Republican Party in the year 2000 because they wanted to remain conservative while not letting themselves be known as racists. As a result, the first black president of America turned out to be a conservative Republican. In Yugoslavia, after the fall of Slobodan Milosevic, a democratic revolution took place under Predrag Matvejevic. During the fall of Milosevic, Yugoslavia broke up into constituent states like Macedonia, Kosovo, Bosnia, Slovenia. In Bosnia, however, there was a second civil war which took place between the Republic of Srpska, which was Serbian Bosniaks, the Croatian Republic of Herzegovina, which was Croatian Bosniaks, and the main Bosnian government in Sarajevo. In the end, the dark horse candidate won. The soul of Ante Pavelic might be smiling in hell because the Croatian Republic of Herzegovina has won a total victory. Now Bosnia is under Croatia, de facto. Milvoje Petkovic rules Bosnia as if it is Croatia itself. This is very preferable to Ivica Rakan's Croatian Republic. In the Middle East, Saddam Hussein's ambitions of a greater Iraqi Arab state were cut down by his defeat in the war against Iran and Saudi Arabia. After his defeat, the Hashemite family was restored to power in Baghdad by the Saudis as their puppet state. I recently read a very interesting novel written by the King of Iraq, Sharif Ali ibn al-Hussein. It was called 50 Years of Exile, an account of the Hashemite family's fall and return to power after a period of 50 years from 1958 to 2008. Anyway, Hafiz al-Assad also fell in the Arab revolutions. He was replaced by Riyad Saif's liberal government. Everything else in the Arab world is pretty much the same. The Republic of Egypt is now the last call of socialism and revolution in the Arab world under Khaled Moayyed-Din. He is kind of pro-Soviet but not really part of the Soviet pact. In the Republic of Yemen, Ali Abdullah Saleh's General People's Congress nationalists defeated the communists with Saudi help, and now Yemen is a staunchly nationalist right-wing state. Oman remains a monarchy, and the Islamic Republic of Iran remains steadfast. Recently, an unholy alliance has been signed between Islamic fundamentalism and Soviet communism. It is an alliance of pragmatism. signed by Ali Khamenei and Nikolai Ryzhkov. However, Khamenei managed to achieve another important thing. Thanks to Iranian and Pakistani help, the Taliban managed to defeat the northern warlords, and they established a brutal Islamic fundamentalist state under Mullah Omar. Whatever rights the people and especially the women of Afghanistan had evaporated in one day. Now the women of Afghanistan are not even able to show their faces or their voices in public. But elsewhere, the Pakistanis saw defeat. In the Indo-Pak War of 2005, the Republic of India resoundingly defeated Pakistan. India had already defeated Pakistan in 1948, 65 and 71. And with the exception of 71 when they formed Bangladesh, India had taken nothing from Pakistan. Even in the 1999 Kargil border war, the Indians gave back every piece of conquered land. But that changed in 2005. Amid resounding cheers from his supporters, Atal Bihari Vajpayee announced that India would be annexing Pakistani-occupied Kashmir and Gilgit-Baltistan. And with this, Pakistan was destroyed forever. Now, in its new weakened state, Pakistan is even more reliant on its American alliance to give it a sense of stability and greatness. In Sri Lanka, the Sri Lankan government under Chandrika Kumaratunga defeated the Liberation Tigers of Tamil Eelam and basically managed to bring order to chaos. Nepal became a Maoist state which is pro-China. In the Republic of China, initially the reformists took power. However, during the Turkestan rebellion, which was led by Taliban and Iranian-inspired Muslim fundamentalists, the Chinese army initially suffered a huge round of setbacks. This led to a coup d'etat by the PLA led by Zhou Yongkang. The party dictatorship was removed in favor of a new People's Liberation Army dictatorship. Not only did they defeat Turkestan, but they returned China to the ideals of Mao, albeit with army support. Another reason for this army coup was the total defeat in Korea. In the 2004 Korean War, the Americans and the Japanese gave huge amounts of support. After the sudden death of Kim Jong-il and Kim Jong-un in a car accident during the war, the North Koreans lost their will to fight. The South Koreans captured North Korea, and after a small referendum, South Korea annexed North Korea, leading to the creation of the Unified Republic of Korea. However, there are a few problems. The sudden opening up of the North to capitalism and liberalism has led to a situation where North Korea is now treated as a colony by the South Koreans. South Korean corporations have bought out a lot of land in North Korea. They've constructed a new border wall similar to the French Maginot Line of World War II on the Chinese border to prevent any incursions by the Chinese. The shameful defeat incurred in the Korean War was one of the great catalysts of the PLA coup. In Southeast Asia, communism faced another huge setback when Kampuchea and Laos went to right-wing forces in the Kingdom of Cambodia and the Thais respectively. In the Great Southeast Asian War, the Thai and Cambodian royal forces defeated the combined forces of the Socialist Republic of Vietnam, the Socialist Republic of Kampuchea, and the Socialist Republic of Laos. While Kampuchea was annexed and a new Kingdom of Cambodia was formed under Pen Suan's right-wing nationalist leadership, the Thais continue to occupy Laos. They are now facing a brutal pro-Vietnamese insurgency. However, the Vietnamese themselves have been completely depleted by the Great War, and only the future will tell what happens ahead. Now we go on to Africa. In Africa, Jonas Savimbi's UNITA managed to defeat the MPLA after 20 years civil war. Shortly after coming to power, Savimbi declared a new white terror to purge all elements of socialism and communism from Angola. Angola went overnight from a pro-Soviet state to a pro-American state. And this has been a big headache for the Republic of Mozambique, which continues to be socialist under Frelimo. Indeed, most of southern Africa has actually went to the American sphere. In South Africa, the hardline apartheid dictatorship continues under constant Viljoen. After their total victory in the Great African War against the Namibians, the Botswanans, the Zimbabweans, and the ANC insurgency, the apartheid regime has seen stability for the first time since the 1980s. Nelson Mandela and all other ANC leaders are now dead, and apartheid continues to march into the new millennium. In Congo, Laurent Kabila's pro-Soviet forces were defeated by Ernst Wamba di Wamba's insurgency. After reunifying the Congo, a new liberal bourgeoisie republic was established, and now Congo has joined the American sphere like Uganda, Rwanda, and Burundi. Elsewhere, in the Islamic Emirate of Somalia, Sharia law continues to be dominant, just like in Iran and Afghanistan. Meanwhile, the People's Republic of Ethiopia has been dismantled. After the crisis caused by defeat against the Eritreans, Mengistu Haile Mariam fled the country and went into exile in Moscow. In his place, the Tigray People's Liberation Front announced their own Ethiopian candidate Meles Zenawi to lead a new pro-Beijing market socialist state. Eritrea is now a defiantly powerful nation, led by right-wing ideology under Isaias Afwerki. He runs Eritrea like Kim Jong-il ran North Korea. Nothing comes in, nothing comes out. Thanks to the total defeat of Saddam Hussein, Muammar Gaddafi's Libyan Arab Jamahiriya has now regained its power as the foremost voice of Arab nationalism and Arab socialism. Despite not having the means to do so now, Gaddafi's eventual ambition is to create an Arab nation that stretches from the Kingdom of Morocco in the west to the Iranian province of Arabistan in the east, and from Syria in the north to Sudan in the south. But in Sudan, Gaddafi failed. His support for the North Sudanese failed to bear fruit, and South Sudan defeated North Sudan, after which an equal confederation of the Sudan was established, where North and South have their own separate parliament and a weak de jure leader is elected. Currently, it is John Garang. In Liberia and Sierra Leone, the government forces managed to crush the rebellions and they continue to reign as usual. Finally, in the Republic of Colombia, the FARC communist insurgency was defeated, and President Andres Pastrana recently made a deal with the remaining guerrillas by which they laid down their arms in exchange for total diplomatic immunity. All this was achieved due to the able leadership of Alan Keyes, the first black president of America, and some say one of the greatest presidents that America ever had. Due to Alan Keyes' able leadership, America and NATO have recovered its position as the foremost power in the world. As you can see, most of the world today is a part of NATO. And with the sole exception of India and Pakistan, NATO has managed to defeat its enemies all over the world. Even in the Israeli-Palestine conflict, the Palestinians supported by Moscow no longer have any power, and Israel has become way too strong. So that is the world, my friends. Once again, if you haven't watched part 2, then I really suggest that you go and watch it now. A link is there in the description and a link is there at the start of this video. Have fun and play Red Dusk. A link to Red Dusk has also been shown in the description. Good night and goodbye.